Can you shut up and keep talking? That lone line reminds me of so many of my past relationships. Ah, sweet yet bittersweet memories that I have spent a lifetime trying to forget, but they will never ever leave. They will haunt me forever. They'll be at the front, the middle, the back of my goddamn brain. They will never ever leave. Why do you haunt me? Why? You Hurt My Feelings comes to us from A24, my favorite studio. A24, Neon Studios. Pretty much 1 and 1A. You put them on the goddamn marquee. If they have something to do with the project, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to watch it. And when I saw that this was going to be coming out, I'm like, okay, this looks kind of fun. I thought it was just going to come directly to streaming, but I'm like, if it's in a theater near me, then I'll go watch it. And it was at a theater near me. Literally, 6 or 7 miles from my house. So why not? This was the third movie that I saw in one day. I'm not kidding. Why'd I do that? Because when I have a day off, I just want to spend it watching movies, especially if I have nothing else to do. And again, A24. Yes, more A24. I can't wait for Talk to Me. More A24 movies. Yum, yum. They have like a 95% good to great ratio. So yes, this comes to us from writer-director Nicole Holofcener, who did Enough Said, and it stars Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Enough Said also starred Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is 62 years old. I would, and you would too. She's bright and funny and very, very personable, and she plays Beth, a novelist that is really struggling to try and make sure she does the best work possible. She wants to get her book published. She's nervous that maybe her publicist or agent isn't exactly doing the best, but she wants to make sure that people like her work. And she's married to Don Tobias Menzies. I promise you, I did not laugh at that last name. How dare you accuse me of laughing at that last name? Actually, I totally did. Menzies, it's a monthly joke. I'm sorry. That's terrible, except I'm not sorry. So yes, they're happily married. They have a son that is kind of struggling. He's working at a pot shop and everything, and he's got a girlfriend. He's kind of struggling a little bit, but they have a happy marriage, and they have a kid, and everything seems to be going good. Don is a therapist that has his own issues because he seems to be forgetting some things about his particular patients, mixing up some things. When you see that many patients, it's easy to do. Even if you write the shit down, it's easy to do. You take on other people's problems, and that becomes an issue. And then there's also Sarah Michaela Watkins and Arian Moayed. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, who plays Mark. Oh, hi, Mark. And Mark is a friend by association, and Sarah is the sister of Beth. And basically, they do a lot of things. They have their own jobs. Sarah's an interior designer, and her and Beth do volunteer work, and they also see their mother. And who is a delight. I just want to say the actress playing the mother is a real delight. And Mark is an actor that sometimes struggles, sometimes doesn't. And this movie basically centers around what particular white lies you think you can get away with and how people react to certain white lies. Because when you're in a marriage, you want to support your spouse, but sometimes maybe they don't do everything that you exactly love, but you want to support them, so you tell them they're great. But then when they overhear that maybe something they're doing, some particular project they're doing, isn't actually your cup of tea, and you felt like you were lied to, that can manifest, and white lies can have a snowball effect and everything. And look, white lies happen. People tell me I do great stuff, or people tell me I flat out suck, and, look, let's be perfectly honest. Criticisms are always going to happen regardless of what you're doing. Therapy, novelist, acting, interior design, working at a pot shop, whatever it is. This is basically just a comedy drama where Julia Louis-Dreyfus was on fire. She was great. I never necessarily cared for Seinfeld, but any clips I saw, she was great. Yeah, I didn't care for Seinfeld. Sorry, Seinfeld kind of sucks to me. But the writing was really crisp here. I do need to see Enough Said. I heard Enough Said was actually quite good. This is just basically endearing. It's one of those movies that you enjoy the characters. There's a lot of awkward, situational comedy, but it works here. It's also breezy 93 minutes, and everything evolves properly. everybody has a reason to be, to wonder why somebody is mad at them, and that person has a right to be upset at that particular person. But there's always a common ground to be found, because when it's not really that big of a deal, when you are proud of your work, it's not that other people's support doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, if you're happy with what you're doing, then as long as you have a loving support system, even if they don't necessarily care for every single detail of your work, that's what matters. It matters most. Family matters. Friends matter. People important to you in your inner circle matter the most. And that's really what You Hurt My Feelings is about. And Julia Louis-Dreyfus does a great job as Beth here. And Tobias Menzies, sorry, again, monthly joke, sorry, can't help it. He's good. And it centers around them, even though Sarah and Mark are factored in. There's a funny dinner scene a little bit later on. There really isn't a lot to spoil with this, but I encourage you guys to check it out in theaters if it's playing near you. I will say, though, this movie probably will find a new life on streaming. I can't imagine it probably cost all that much to make, even with the star power that was in it. Nevertheless, it is a good, entertaining time with a little bit of awkwardness, a little bit of, ooh, that hurt a little bit. If you can see it with a bit of a crowd, you might get some oohs and ahs and, ooh, that hurt a little bit. And the stiffness of some of those shots, but it sort of makes sense. And quite a bit of good comedy. I laughed quite a bit. I had some fun, but I also cringed a little bit. So it's enjoyable. You Hurt My Feelings is quite enjoyable. I'm going to get into spoilers, though. It's in theaters right now. It could end up being on streaming pretty goddamn soon. I'm not going to lie to you. I really think that this thing will probably be on streaming within the next 4 to 6 weeks. But nevertheless, 3, 2, 1, spoilers! Okay, so basically, Beth overhears Dawn kind of say, she's a really good writer, but I don't really care for this particular book. She gets hurt by that, and that snowballs. She talks to Sarah, and Sarah also says, there are sometimes I don't support everything that Mark does. I mean, I don't think he's always the best at acting, but I support him because he's, I figure out what the common ground is. And eventually it just centers around Beth needing to realize that Dawn didn't mean anything offensive. Dawn does everything he can to try and, make it up to Beth, even though he doesn't feel like he necessarily did anything wrong. He understands that to be the bigger man, he's got to admit, hey, I should have worded things better. I should have been more honest with you in this particular situation. But also their son felt like he was always pumped up to think that he was better than he was. Beth talked to a teacher about a C grade and got it bumped up to a B because, the son felt like he deserved it. But then it turned, but that's how he made the mother feel. It actually turns out, no, I put effort in, but I deserved the C. I didn't want to just be gifted that. And also a swimming class. He was in a swimming class, and the mother pumped that, put him in the advanced class instead of putting him in the beginner's class, and he felt humiliated. And now he feels more humiliated because he feels like he's not listened to. He had to break up with a girlfriend. He just feels kind of like he's wasting away, like his parents care more about themselves than they do about him. And that gives everybody perspective. Also, there's a running gag of the fact that Beth and Dawn gift each other things that they think the other will like, but it turns out they don't, like earrings for Beth or V-necks for Dawn. And there's also a bit of a subplot with Dawn dealing with therapy patients, and one guy that's kind of a full-on dick about it because he feels like the guy's not Dawn's not helping. Let's be honest, that particular character, kind of a goddamn dick, and probably shouldn't be going to therapy if he's not willing to listen and reflect on the fact that maybe he's not the best person. And then there's this couple that felt like Dawn hasn't necessarily helped them, and they want their money back. They want 33 grand back because they said he hasn't really helped them with much of anything. To be fair, they're bad communicators. They're really bad communicators. And they're also grifters right there. And then there was this one pretty endearing part, and also sad with this old guy that was there for a lot of therapy sessions, and he said he's going to be done basically because Dawn costs too much. I mean, I think that's kind of the running thing, but also Dawn realizes he kind of needs to learn how to evolve as a therapist. And it's also about age and understanding, who really matters most and what matters, what to let go, what to hold on to, and what to understand with particular people. And then there's a thing near the end at the pot shop that their son works at, where they get in a robbery, and Beth is just trying to protect her son because she realizes that's what's most important. And then 1 year later, they're at an anniversary dinner. Everything's good, and there you go. And she also got her book published. So everything worked out pretty goddamn well. You Hurt My Feelings isn't necessary. I'm not going to say it's even going to set the world on fire. I would say, as far as a movie that is good, or that as far as a situational comedy slash drama, it's definitely one of the best because it's A24 and it's just got this crisp, breezy feel to it, and it doesn't get bogged down, but it allows things to breathe even in a 93-minute runtime. So I'm going to say an A. I'm not going to say A plus, but I'm going to say A. This definitely gets an A. It's quite good. A grade material. Check it out. If not in theaters, on streaming. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.